Welcome back to another episode of Private Parts with me, Liv Bentley. This is the podcast where nothing is off limits. This week, I have an absolute icon from Made in Chelsea. It's Ruby Adler.
Guys, thanks. Thanks
Welcome.
for having me.
I'm excited about this one because we can just chat absolute rubbish.
Well, it's what we do all day long anyway.
All day long. I was thinking about this the other day. Whenever we sit, it's like therapy.
We don't stop talking.
Ruby and I will go to the pub, have a large glass of red, and just chat rubbish.
For hours.
Hours. It keeps us going.
I know, it really does.
No, I just said on the card, it said intro to friendship. And actually, Ruby and I,
Oh, God,
what's
I know
sort
what
of
you're gonna
interesting,
say.
Ruby and I originally met in Raffles. I can see
No, we were
it.
in Amica.
Was it Amica?
Or was it Raffle? One of the other.
One of the other. And it was when you had just started dating Rez. And I think Rez had sent me a message on Facebook Messenger. Anyway, then did you message me saying, don't you go near my boyfriend?
I think I
something.
Facebook messaged you.
Yeah, that was it.
And I don't know why I was really pissed off with you because I think Rez had messaged you or something.
He had sent me a weird message.
In my brain, I was like, he's in love with her and he's going to dump me.
Also at the time.
I took it upon myself to then hail all this abuse at you. I had a potty mouth when I was younger.
So did I,
feel like it's
though.
not changed though.
No, but reined in slightly. But no, because then I remember Rez then joined Made in Chelsea and I'd filmed a scene with him and Sam Thompson in Battersea and you came to pick Rez up and we almost reintroduced ourselves to each other. I was like, hi, I'm Liv, because it was like 10 years later.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I remember being like, oh my God, like, I'm really mortified that I'd sent you those messages because I kind of remembered it, but kind of hoped you'd forgotten. You didn't.
Oh, I've never forgotten. It was so awful. No, I'm joking. It wasn't in the slightest.
And we've been besties since.
Yeah, we literally have.
I know.
And then I think it was Mallorca when we got really close.
Yeah, it was.
Because Rez and Tristan were really close, and then we got really close.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting. Everyone always asks me, like, are you actually friends with people on the show?
People always ask me that.
But it's so interesting, isn't it? Whereas I suppose some people I would be friendly to on the show, but in real life I probably wouldn't hang out with them. Whereas I look at like you, me, Tiff, Emily,
Sophie, Melissa.
Like we're actually a good group of friends.
We're a great group of friends and we I always say like we kind of all grew up on the show together and like there's this sense of loyalty with just certain friends that you would just never go against. And then there are other people on the show where it's like all cards are out to play, literally. Kind of.
But that's actually you do need someone on the show that you can fully trust.
You have to. It's really, really hard doing it without that sense of like, you need like a best friend. You need someone that you know has your back and like vice versa.
Do you feel like you have that at the moment with anyone on the show?
No.
That's why I'm back.
Thank God. Thank God. I definitely have like genuine friendships on the show for sure. And I've got closer with some of, there's some great people on there that I like definitely love and respect, but it's a different type of friendship. Like
there's like a limit to what you would say. Like you wouldn't go and get pissed at the pub and reveal all your secrets. I was saying this.
Do that with no one but you, my love.
I know. I was saying this with Sam last week when that dinner party in Corsica, when I had rung you and I'd admitted to loads of shit and you were in the car with Rez and the phone was on speaker and then I realised Rez had heard every single thing I'd admitted to and I was like, oh my God, I'm fucked.
This has happened a few times between Liv and I.
But I actually, thank God we had each other to have someone else who just has your back.
But also those are like always my best scenes are with you because it's so real. And I'm not saying Made in Chelsea isn't real, it is. But when you when you're just honestly having a very honest, vulnerable conversation with someone that you like love and that is actually a very close friend of yours, it's going to resonate on camera. Like you're going to be able to tell
100%.
that is like an actual conversation that we would have regardless of whether we were filming a TV show.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And then I think also you can tell quite quickly with some people when you're having a conversation that they are full of crap.
Oh my God. You absolutely can.
I always get quite sweet messages from people saying you're very real. Probably a little bit too real at some points, but I would say you're probably the same.
I like to think of myself as quite real and kind of, I don't really beat around the bush, but it doesn't always go down that well with the public, my opinions and thoughts.
But do you think you then alter the way you are because of backlash?
No,
because I know some people do. Because I was thinking about this the other day. I remember I saw a clip. I think it was of Spencer, like back in the day, and it was having some savage fight. And I think the reason now people aren't as rogue or monitor more what they do because of things like social media.
Oh, for sure. I mean, gone are the days. I think cancel culture is huge, and people are so worried. The younger girls and guys that are filming on the show, the cast members, they are so absorbed and concerned by image perception in a way that I never really thought about it when I was filming.
I just give a crap.
Whatever came out my mouth came out my mouth.
I remember I think it was one of my first days, and one of the girls, I heard her say to the director, she goes, no, not that side, it's my fat arm. And I thought, you're joking. I was like, what are they talking
People
about?
fight over on MIC over sides, like profiles, being like,
Rez being the main one.
Rez literally won't film the scene unless it's like a certain angle with a certain lens and a certain camera. And I'm like, you've just got to chill.
I think that's why I stopped. When I first joined, I would watch it back quite relentlessly. I was just more to see the way I looked. And I think I didn't give a shit about the content, what I was saying.
Yeah.
But it was just about my appearance. And then I actually stopped watching it purely because it made me so self-conscious about the way I looked. And then I'd overthink everything.
Yeah.
But do you look back and there are any moments where you were like, fuck, I wish I hadn't done that?
Oh God, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, and there's moments, not that I live in with huge regret, but I think it's all a learning curve, isn't it? And also there's like life moments that I look back at and think, why did I say that? Why did I do that? So when a show's filming your life, there's definitely moments that I think I could have dealt with situations better. I could have maybe like not got so uptight about X, Y, and Z. I could have maybe thought more about the other person in a certain situation. There's definitely moments that I think I could have done things differently, but that doesn't mean I live with huge regret. I mean, it was all taught me a lot.
Yeah. Why did you want to do it?
I had been asked a few times and had this like full-time job and kind of just thought, I've got a job. Like, I kind of don't know how I would be able to do both. And I liked what I was doing at the time. And then COVID happened and I think everyone got a slightly different perception on life. And I kind of thought, if I don't do this now, I'm never going to do it.
Wait, you just joined just before we did Wilderness? Was it?
I joined August 2020, so we'd just gone into lockdown.
Oh yeah, it was after we had all been in Surrey. When I just started dating Tristan.
I joined that series.
Got you.
But I filmed in London. Or maybe it was just the series after, I can't remember now. But I honestly, like hand on heart, thought I'd come on, film an episode or two and never film again. And here I am 5 years later.
But it goes to show you obviously enjoy it.
I really enjoy it. It's opened so many doors. Like, it's taught me so much. We've got to travel the world. It's strengthened so many friendships. And, it like totally changed my life.
That's why I think I stayed on it for so long.
And it's like a weird, like, you always sort of find your way back to one another. Like, it's like an odd dysfunctional family. And no matter what's said, and you don't find your way back to everyone, but friendship-wise, like, you can have these big fallouts and it does magnify certain conversations that you naturally probably wouldn't have. And that's not always a bad thing. You can sometimes have conversations.
I think it's sort of therapeutic.
It is. It's like one big therapy session.
And also
it also holds you accountable for your actions.
Yeah, 100%. And you have to face up to your shit.
Yeah.
Which I remember when my day one, I was such a nervous little Nancy with my little quiff. And I'd gone up against, I think it was Tiff. And I'd said something, oh God, I'm so sorry. And one of them was just like, but are you sorry? And I was like, no, you're right, I'm not fucking sorry. And then from then on, I was like,
I'm not sorry.
But no, it does make you confront things. I actually used to find it quite helpful when I was with Tristan, because you then, sort of things you complain about or things you don't really notice for a long time when you're not filming. I don't know how to explain this one the right way, but it would make you realize things that I don't know how to word this right. You do confront things.
Yes, you have
probably
to.
Normally you necessarily wouldn't, because there's slightly more, not pressure, but if you've had a conversation with your friend, normally it doesn't really go anywhere. But actually, if you do it when you're on the show, you then have to confront that stuff, which I think is very helpful.
No, totally. You sort of have, certain scenarios or situations you may just brush under the carpet in day-to-day life, but you cannot do that on the show.
Definitely not. What would you say your worst moment on the show has been?
There was different eras of me. I feel like I've lived so many different lives that have all been like captured on the show. I think I've said some things.
wait, I'm trying to think of what.
I'm trying to think. I haven't done anything that awful.
No, not quite like mine. What's been your biggest fight on the show?
Arguments with the girls that I look back at, with the females on the show that I kind of, as I'm getting older, I'm like, it was kind of unnecessary. I was always on the defense, always. I was quite angry.
Yeah, but I think if you're defending yourself, it's hard not to be.
And I look back at certain scenes and I said certain things to certain girls and I just think that, like, I don't think I'd ever say that now. Might do, though, after a drink. No, what was my worst scene? There was a scene that I did. It's always been, I don't know.
Would you say it's worse, girl drama is worse than relationship stuff? Or what do you find more painful? Probably relationship stuff, wouldn't it be?
Probably the relationship stuff. Because always the relationship stuff I've filmed has always been very real. So it's not that MIC isn't real, but that was a relationship that I had pre the show.
Yeah.
I was with Rez for years before we did the show. We didn't like.
I think people do forget that.
Because we didn't meet on
I've
Made
been
in
quite
Chelsea.
Vocal sometimes about. I change my mind about your relationship probably more than you do. 5 minutes, I'm like, 1 minute, I'm like saying, get back together. Then no, don't fucking do it. But I think people forget that you and Rez had this whole history before even filming.
Yeah, we did.
Because have you ever lived together?
Not like in lockdown a bit, but not like
pre-filming.
Pre-filming, yeah.
And now what is it, 10 years on?
And the rest.
And
yeah,
the
no,
rest.
I mean, it's been very up and down.
Do you think being on the show has helped it or made it worse? Or made it...
I sort of battle with this daily. I think there's a lot of pressure filming a relationship on TV. You've got so much external noise. You've got so many thoughts and opinions that just wouldn't happen in, if you were living more of a private life. I think you could deal with things on your own potentially more so. And, I'd be lying saying that those opinions and thoughts, they do affect you.
Yeah, because they come from some of your friends. And weirdly, what I used to think is actually, it was one thing when your friend said something, but then with things like Instagram, the general public's opinion, they're not that it didn't bother me, but it was like, when everyone would say the same thing, you're like, oh my God, what do I even think?
Exactly. And then when you're told something in such abundance over and over again, whether it's about your relationship status not being with that, should you be with that person, shouldn't you? And you're hearing it from so many people, whether they're your friends, family or peers, you start to believe something. It's like when you're trolled about your appearance by a million different people, it's easy to be like, well, I don't know them, so I don't care. But when you're told something so much, you do start to believe it. So I think, in some ways, I think the show did strengthen us, and it's like this camaraderie and like, we're doing this together and like we're a team and we've got each other. And in some other ways, it's like, actually, this is really hard because I've got like X, so-and-so saying X, Y, and Z, and you're held accountable for so many things that you may not be if you were just living a private life.
I'd say the one benefit is if your boyfriend cheats, you will find out without question. Firstly, because it's probably in raffles, and secondly, because someone will DM you. Yeah. So that is the benefit of being Made in Chelsea. Talking about like physical appearance, have you ever felt pressure because of being on TV to ever have like any certain treatments or anything ever done?
Absolutely, but I'm my own worst critic. So it's like, not that yes, I do. I don't think I would have done...
I know. By the way, I'm with you. I don't think I would have had Botox, and I was fucking late to that party.
I was actually quite late to that party.
You could wedge a cigarette in the crevice between my eyebrows before I had Botox. It was awful. I look back at photos, and half my face is slightly droopy.
But I think it's so trend related, because I think when we were like, however old, in our early 20s, I don't actually think that many people did it.
Because then everyone had the lip filler put in, and then they had it taken out. But my one for years, and it honestly took me 5 years to even do it. Probably because I was such a pussy. Was to get filler in my lip. I actually had always wanted it, but then almost didn't do it because I knew everyone said to do it. Like, I would get so many messages from people being like, where's Olivia's top lip? It's obviously not fucking here. And so then eventually I did actually do it.
Look great. Shout out Dr.
Mo. That's my favourite thing. Ruby and I, what we really enjoy is going for a nice lunch, having a few glasses of champagne, going to see Dr. Motox, having a bit of thing here and there.
Having a few needles in the face.
Getting pissed, and then spending our rent money in Harrods. Then ringing each other the next day, sobering up, not being able to pay our rent and having to return everything. This has happened on quite a few occasions.
We've literally got so drunk at Harry's, and then we've wandered over to Harrods, pissed, befriended this lovely guy at Celine.
I sometimes walked past, more pissed.
Who then brought out a bottle of champagne. We then bought the entire
I obviously thought we were like
Celine.
Lady Mucks walking around there. He was carrying our bags and our champagne. I was trying things on that I had no intention of even considering buying.
I bought a vanity case. Who does that?
I bought a pair of sunglasses, worn them once. It's so bad.
At least you use the little pouch. That was cute.
Oh yeah, I do. I
should have bought the bag. I bought a matching bag and vanity case.
It is hilarious. No, there's my friend. It's that, and then going to Motox and getting overexcited about wanting loads of things done
with all the Harrods bags.
Numb afterwards. I need to be making more money to be doing that.
So I was actually in Westfield the other day. I love Westfield, by the way. It's like my favourite place.
It gives me such anxiety.
Does it? Yeah. I don't know why I really like it. It brings me back to quite a happy time in my life.
Roaming around Westfield?
I don't know, yeah. So Sephora is now in Westfield, and I was actually picking up a couple of bits the other day, and who's got the money? Because when I was 12, I did not have £45 to spend on a moisturiser.
Are you joking?
Like, I literally had about a fiver, and I'd buy a Frappuccino.
To school with £2, and you'd say, don't spend it all at once.
No,
like one lollipop in the tuck shop. No, I definitely didn't have, and I definitely wasn't buying makeup and skincare.
No.
But also, I mean, at school we weren't allowed to wear it.
No, neither was I.
I remember I used to have to do CCF, which is like army training at Bradfield.
That's quite cool. I never did anything like that.
I looked like an oh my God, I made it into the Marines actually.
Did you?
But you had to get into a river and you're fully clothed, running assault courses. I actually didn't mind it, but they were so strict on no makeup to the point that if you showed up to a lesson wearing makeup, they'd send you back to house go take it off. And I remember being so fucked off because I was wearing, do you remember back in the day, it was like a Nivea lip balm, but it was pink.
I loved it. I had them all.
Everyone had it. Anyway, I remember I was probably wearing that and this teacher gave me a makeup wipe. So I went into the bathroom and scrubbed the floor with this makeup wipe and handed it back to him because he said, go take it off and bring it back again. Because I was so fucked off. I was like, how dare you? But no, they were so strict.
So strict.
So anyway.
Was your school mixed?
Yeah. Yeah, so actually, but I don't know. I went through this sort of weird phase where I didn't want children. And I think it's because I was more worried. Like, I had the most incredible childhood. And I think up until probably doing TV, I had that sort of slight innocence that I think now a lot of younger people potentially don't have because they're subjected to so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I even look at Eddie, who's 19, I'm going to get that wrong, 19 or 20. And the stuff that he has experienced already, which I wasn't even close to, is slightly crazy. And I think I would want my kids to have the same sort of childhood I did. But I think
that's lovely.
It is all changing a lot. And everyone's getting younger and younger. Like, even the age that people have sex.
That makes me feel sick. I can't talk about that. Sorry. That makes me feel really unwell.
It's weird, isn't it?
How old?
Well, young. Like, a lot younger than I was. I think I was like 16 or 17, which actually, that's not that young in the big scheme of things now.
Yeah, but you're still a baby at that age.
I know. So, we can say this, can't we?
Yeah.
So, Ruby, you've had a boob job.
I've had a boob job.
That was 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Why did you want one?
I don't know if you remember. You would have, because we would have clubbed together at the time. I never had like boobs really.
Yeah.
I was like quite flat chested. I've actually never spoken about my boob job anywhere. Exclusive.
No.
It's obviously very obvious that I have my boobs down, they're huge. But I remember...
Can I just say something really quick while you say that? Did you ever think that no one would notice?
I hoped everyone would notice.
Oh, fine. No, because it's so interesting when people have something done and then in their head they get, so no one will see.
No, I did have that mentality though. That's exactly what I thought. I just thought no one's going to notice. But like, I'm 5'3" and little and like never had boobs. So it's like, obviously people are going to notice. But when I used to go clubbing back in the day, I would wear multiple bras to like get the cleavage, but not realise that you could then see the 9 bra straps on my arm. I mean, it was so uncomfortable. I would literally wear like the bombshell, the bombshell VS bras, and I'd wear like 3 of them, and I would look ridiculous. And then it was just something I always wanted to do. I did my research. I saw a phenomenal surgeon who I highly recommend through friends of friends, and I'm really happy with them. It's definitely, you've got to do it for the right reasons.
Yeah. See, I think this is the thing, is that a lot of people perhaps don't do it for the right reasons. And I think that is because of social media.
I totally agree. I mean, I can't imagine growing up in a world. I am so grateful that I didn't grow up at school with 16. Social media.
No, I know.
With Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I mean, that and the rest.
I was talking to someone the other day saying how loads of young teenagers actually do suffer with depression. And I do believe it's because of everything is about the way you look relentlessly. And I was saying when I had my hair loss, if I had to go through that while Instagram was a thing, I wouldn't leave my house. No. Like, I would find it so, like, the pressure of having to look a certain way and being like almost perfect. And it's weird because I kind of thought things would change. It would slightly do a U-turn and change again, but I don't think it really has. No. I think there's still this massive culture of everything being, and there are girls who are 16 who look about 25.
I know, it's absolutely terrible.
I look like a little boy. I should have had a boob job when I was 16, actually, so people knew I wasn't called Oliver. It was awful. That and having no hair. It's outrage.
Look phenomenal.
Anyway, she's a lady now.
But I remember thinking that my boob job would like make me like this. It would make me really happy, and it did for about 5 minutes. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad I did it. But like, it's so cringe. But like, you're only going to be happy from within, not from going to have multiple surgeries, not from going to have your face done, not from going to have a bit of filler done or your boobs done. That's not going to make you happy in the long run.
Do you think are you happy now?
I'm happy. I am happy.
Do you feel content with life now? I feel content.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster the last few years. My good God. But I am in a good place, got great people around me, work's great friends, great family. I'm good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That is good. Do you think you'd have any other surgery?
I'd never say never. There's nothing I want at the moment. Yeah. I'm happy with, there's always things that we want to do about ourselves. But no, I would never say never, but for now I'm good.
Well, I think you look great. You don't need it.
And then I've got my nose booked in and my bum and my fox lift eyes.
Oh yeah, that was that trend. Is that still a thing?
That was a real trend, wasn't it? The threads.
It just looks so painful.
I know, but also that's not meant to go in your body. String threads. It's not.
Makes me feel weird. No, because I went and had that. I'll be honest, I love an injection. Although I time it really badly because when I was on Chelsea last year, when I went back to do the Liv launch, my Botox kicked in mid-scene.
Oh God.
And I smiled and half my face was frozen and the other half was like that. It was awful. And I watched it back, I thought, you fucking idiot, why have you done that?
It's when I'm crying in Made in Chelsea and I watch it back but nothing moves.
You laugh and nothing's moving.
I'm
It
like
looks
genuinely
awful.
really sad.
I now when I laugh on the show, well, I say now, I've done one episode, but one scene back, I have to go like that to protect the majority of my face so it doesn't look like sort of
Frozen.
Michael Jackson. It's not good, is it?
No, now we're talking like this.
I got into putting filler under my eyes. I used to have really bad bags. I'm assuming it's from drinking and smoking, and I just looked haggard. So I had all this filler put in, and I watched a clip back. This was about 2 years ago. I watched a clip back, and the filler had sunk down to here, and I was smiling, and these lumps were on my cheeks, and I thought, what the fuck's happened? So I then went and had it all dissolved. And now I just get those skin boosters and Profilo. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really
that
good.
Botox, a bit of filler. I do love the feeling of having my lips done though. My mum will
love
not
that
like that.
swollen
Oh yeah,
feeling.
what did your parents say? My parents are hugely anti any cosmetic stuff.
My mum and dad are very anti all of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you tell them Did you tell them?
Told my
before-
mum
after your boobs.
The day before I was getting my boobs done, I told my mum, I've got something to tell you. She goes, you're either pregnant or having a boob job.
Did she actually?
And I go, I'm having a boob job. And she was so supportive and so great, and she picked me up from the hospital. I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to tell her 3 months prior because all she's going to do is stress.
Because then also it will, as much as it's obviously it's autism, you don't want other people can have an input on that, and it can change your mind.
But yeah, I'm very transparent with my parents about
you and I are quite lucky with that. We do have good relationships with our parents.
We do.
I mean, I did when I first went and had some Botox was by someone who slightly bruised my face, and I showed up at home with 2 sort of black eyes, and my mum said, "What's happened?" I said, "You're not going to believe it. I fell onto my sunglasses."
Oh no, and she believed it.
Believed it. Then I got pissed and told her the truth.
Oh God. I remember my dad saying to me, because I was living at home at the time when I had my boobs done, I caught him on the stairs and he goes, good luck with your procedure. I was like, thanks, Dad. So awkward.
That is such an awkward one. And that is end of part 1. And join us in part 2 for dilemmas on people who have been in relationships many times with the same person.
Is you trying to say something?
This
here?
is you, Ruby.
Okay,
10 years
yes,
in. See you in part 2.
See you in part 2.
Welcome back to part 2 of Private Parts with me, Liv Bentley, and my special guest, Ruby Adler.
Woohoo.
Now, the conversation we've all been waiting for. People are desperate to know, what is it like being with the same bloke on and off for 10 years and knowing whether you should stay or whether you should go? Because I have been in that position. It drives my mum wild. When and this is, me and all my sisters have done it, have been with boyfriends, broken up and then got back together and then broken up and then got back together, and she doesn't understand it. I do understand it, obviously, and I sympathise for anyone who goes through that sort of situation because I think it is very hard. I do think when my parents were younger, it was a very different time then for that kind of thing. I think you and Rez have something slightly unmatchable, I would say. And I've seen you guys through like thick and thin. But what would you say to someone who is in a similar situation and can't work out whether they should be with that person or not, having broken up and got back together quite a few times? Does that all make sense?
Yeah, no, it completely makes sense. I think you kind of just know whether you want to do the work and whether it's something that you want to fight for.
Yeah.
And every situation, relationship is different. And do you know what? I don't really think there's any right or wrong with any of it. I think it's quite embarrassing. I remember that at times being like, God, like people aren't going to take this seriously. Like it's been so back and forth. But like, we were so young and we were making mistakes.
No, but I think it's because
you kind of know
whether it's worth it,
and it's like that only you can make that decision.
Yeah.
Like your parents, your friends, they can tell you, you know, there's plenty of fish in the sea, go out. And like I think it's important to have other relationships.
When you want that one fish.
When you want that fish.
That one little fish.
But it's important to also like meet other people too.
Yeah.
And I think that that's key.
I think your situation is quite unique because you and Rez met so long ago, and there's obviously something that always brings you back to each other. But I mean, from my experience when I was going through, I think probably Tristan I would have done it the most with. it was almost one of those things where, you know, when you feel like there's like not unfinished business, but we almost had to keep going back to each other until we ran that relationship so far into the ground. There was categorically no coming back from it.
Yeah.
But no, because I remember I think breakups are shit, and
I've done them so many times.
hard. And I think for anyone, I could never work out whether I had issues in my relationships because they were on the show, not because of the show, but because of like what comes with being in a relationship when you're both on TV. And so I could never pinpoint what the real problem was. And but it's so hard to really know. And I think when you have something special with someone, the thought of throwing that away and never finding it again with anyone else is fucking hard.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know how you know. You just kind of have to go with your instinct, and you're not always going to get it right.
What's the biggest chunk of time you and Rez had not together?
When I had another boyfriend for 2 years.
Of course you did.
And that was a very awful breakup, and you picked me up off the floor that time. May I
just say, no, that actually, it's weird. I am obviously empathetic. Some people, when they get upset, when I saw you that day, it was one of the worst days, obviously, of your life, but it was awful. Yeah, watching you cry the day basically Ruby broke up with her boyfriend. I helped her clear her flat out, and it was like...
We were living together.
It was awful.
That was really, really awful. That was awful.
Yeah. But do you think that's because it ended so badly?
I think I didn't want it to end. I wasn't ready for that relationship to end at that time.
It was quite a messy...
It was messy. There was other parties involved.
The Daily Mail was involved.
But I will always wish him well. And it taught me so much. And, I've known him a very, very long time, and we were friends for years before. And yeah,
I do think everyone experiences one breakup that is so brutal that you almost... But do you know what I mean? Like, you know when you have really intense, like, I don't know, I think that, I would say my breakup with Tristan was probably the equivalent of yours with Nick.
My breakup with Nick was...
like relentless, and every day you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I can get through it.
I kind of don't really remember it, if I'm honest. I kind of like blocked it out because I just like didn't want to remember it.
Yeah.
So your brain kind of like, it's like when you go through a really hard time, you kind of like shut off from it. So it's like, I look back at that and I'm like, it was all a bit of a blur.
Yeah.
But I also remember like we've really been through it with each other's and breakups. But you were like, I remember the first person I called was you, and you drove straight to my house.
I remember it. And we went to some dodgy pub. And I was like, give her a drink. Do you remember that?
I remember that. And you drove me to my mum's house, and that was... But, you have to go through these things. And
what would you say your biggest advice for bouncing back from a breakup is?
Time. And it's so... You don't believe it in the moment. And you just...
When someone says time is a healer,
you think, fuck you. I don't have the fucking time. I want to feel okay now. But time is it's a huge healer. And you do like... It's also really hard to accept that things are over. I found the acceptance thing, like, I'm like, but it can't be, and your lives are so intertwined and whatever. But your brain does this thing where you just do learn to accept that it's over, and each day does become a bit easier, and you become accustomed to a new routine, and you end up getting through it. And I look back at certain, I also had horrendous breakups with Rez in my early 20s too that were painful and hard, but you learn a bit from each of them. Like, I do believe that all of those things has made me completely into the person I am today 100%. And so much stronger. And I hear about people that have never gone through heartbreak, and I have a couple of close girlfriends that kind of have just never been heartbroken, and I kind of feel like they need to, and I feel like it's a rite of passage that you have to go through. Like it has completely shaped me and into the person that I am today for all the right reasons.
Yeah, and I think it also helps you be more compassionate to other situations when you have gone through it. Yeah. Because it's hard, like, because I know when I've gone through breakups, there are certain people I probably wouldn't have gone to because they wouldn't have gone through it. It's like if you go through like a breakup on TV, it's a lot easier speaking to someone else who's done it the way you've sort of had it. Yeah. But no, I completely agree. But that pain, it's the worst.
Yeah, don't wish it on anyone.
It's awful.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because when you sit here now and you're like, you don't even think twice about certain things.
No.
And at the time, crying on the floor, and it's awful, awful. My advice would be, though, don't drink. It is the worst.
Oh my God, that's my advice. You've got to keep yourself busy, but keep yourself busy in the right ways. Like go to a gym class, see friends, get out, go on a walk, but don't go through that partying, like you're just going to feel 20 times worse.
My favourite thing is my For You page. I think it's very telling, by the way, about someone. If I was to go on a date, obviously I'm not going to, I would ask, firstly, to see their frequently used emojis and also their For You page on Instagram, because I think it's very telling, isn't it?
It's very telling.
Mine
very telling.
is people making pasta or Pilates. Those
Mine
really
is
thrilling
like
stuff.
people making pasta. Mine's like...
Yours is probably all style and fashion.
Mine's a bit of everything, if I'm honest. I don't even remember
really odd came up on my Instagram the other day, and it slightly unnerves me. It was so... No, this is going to make me sound like I'm Googling weird things. It was someone squeezing their dog's anal glands, and I was sort of like shocked. I thought, why has this come up?
It's when I find a really weird video on Instagram, I go to the comments, and it's just someone commenting going, how have I ended up here?
I don't know if this... I obviously do not troll people.
Are you sure?
No, you know what? On occasion, back in the day, when I used to be hungover on a Sunday morning, if someone said something savage, I would go hell for leather.
You also did it for me.
I then also would troll people on your behalf. 10 minutes later, I then would delete it because I'd feel bad. But Eddie, my brother, says, will send me videos, and he goes, it's just about the comments. Forget the video, it's the comments. So now I find myself reading comment sections. They are
That's the best
savage,
part. The best part.
But they're brutal.
Brutal. The TikTok comments, the things people say.
My agent keeps saying to me, you need to get on TikTok and do it. I know I have a TikTok because there's one video of you and I, firstly, one that I put up when we were drunk, saying, welcome to TikTok, I'm not going to be dancing. 3 videos of me dancing down a carousel in Heathrow, as in with a baggage claim.
So good.
I
think I filmed that.
I'm too nervous. I'm too nervous that I'd get trolled.
Gotta get on TikTok, babe. It's another
I honestly couldn't even tell you how to upload
platform.
a video.
Well, I'll do it with you.
But what, every single time I need to put one up?
You'll get used to it. We'll do the first few together, and then you'll...
And does it work like Instagram? You can repost things and all that?
Oh yeah, I spend my life reposting. When I'm down, I look at my reposts.
Okay, right, you're going to have to do it for me. If you looked at a guy's phone that you were going on a date with, what would be the worst emoji to come up? Or the cringiest?
The drool.
The what?
The drooling face.
Oh.
Ick.
Ick, that is an ick.
Because it's like...
Oh no, wait, what?
Like drooling over the phone. I really get the ick, so...
Do you think you get to an age where emojis shouldn't be used? This is my other issue. Because I'm so bad at social media,
I don't use emojis
I'll do an
much.
emoji.
I don't really use them much, if I'm honest. Like when we text, do I text with emojis? Not really.
No.
Like, you don't really to me.
I do love hearts. That's all I really do.
Yeah, well, I'll always send them to you.
The odd snail and a water droplet, but that's...
Snail?
I'm joking. But no, because I do use them if I can't think of anything to say. On posts.
I can't, babe. I'm awful with captions. You asked me yesterday, and I was like,
I
literally have no idea.
A group of people I'll message saying,
we should just
create
create a group chat called captions.
They are so hard. It's so hard.
I know. I make random shit.
And also,
I asked ChatGPT.
Do you?
Yes.
I've asked them as well. Their suggestions are fucking useless because also I'm quite blunt and brutal, and not brutal, but some of my things
you don't want a long-winded caption.
No, but apparently that's another thing. You've got to do long-winded ones.
Really?
And a load of hashtags. Oh. I'm just going to give up, honestly.
Awesome.
Have you seen all this stuff with Millie Bobby Brown?
I actually was watching that this morning. I watched her statement, and I really felt for her.
I do as well. I think it's really it's the part where she said the majority of the articles were written by women.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I actually think is really bad.
And do you know what they always are? Every awful article about me, not to bring it about me, but it's it's always written by a woman, and it's so damaging. And going back to the video that Millie Bobby Brown put up in that statement, firstly I thought it was worded so well, and someone had to say something. She joined the industry age 10.
No, it's not. That is not.
And of course she's going to grow up. Of course she's going to be a different person now.
Yeah. No,
and it's a shame that
I think it's really sad. But I think it's really sad because she's grown up in front of us. I think people forget. How old is she? She's only 20.
No, she's what, 25?
Still young though. But I think people just obviously assume she's so much older than she is.
She's married. I know that. So I don't think she's 21. Millie Bobby Brown age. What do we think?
24?
No, she's 21.
She's 20. Oh,
you're right, Liv.
Why does anyone born in the 2000s really unnerves me?
Oh my God, she's nearly 10 years older than me.
But that's mental. And she's been
she's married and she's a superstar.
We'll get there. But no, but it is crazy. And I think for her, it must be so hard because anything she does is watched by everyone. It's like when...
We think we have it bad.
Honestly. Ours doesn't touch the fucking sides.
I know.
It really doesn't. But I remember, I think it was Lady Gaga who said, do you remember when Miley Cyrus did that... it was at some award thing and she did the grinding and everyone went fucking wild about it. And Lady Gaga actually said, everyone is so judgmental. You've got to remember she's young and she's growing up. everyone has to make sort of mistakes or do them for themselves. But just because they're in the public eye doesn't mean they should do it a specific way. It is sad. I remember actually when I mean, this is so minor compared to this stuff, but getting, like, my behavior on the show at times wasn't great. Like, and it was, I didn't deal with certain situations the correct way at all. And I was a bit of a knob. And I remember getting DMs from some people's mothers, like girls' mothers saying, you know, you should be a role model. And I remember at the time being like, you know, I'm 22, I'm kind of new into this. Like, how am I meant to be a role model age 22? I think I was probably getting pissed up and, you know, doing stupid shit.
But you're also experiencing life for the first time too.
At the same time.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like you're going through it as well.
Yeah.
You just happen to be doing it on television. So it's like it's difficult. There's a lot of pressure on you or anyone that's in the public eye, because I think there's this huge expectation that you're just meant to get it right the whole time.
And there's also pressure on people who then in the public eye do get work done, and then the backlash they get from like normal people saying, oh, but you're encouraging young people, but they're not though. Like, if you want to, do you know, does that make sense?
Totally. You've just got to you live your life for yourself.
Yeah.
It's too short. Like, if you want to go and get something done for yourself, then
I'll have to get my boobs done at some point.
You've got great boobs though, Liv.
Well, they've slightly shrunk, which annoys me. We do a section on dilemmas, and these are some DMs we've been sent. So I'll read them and then we've got to discuss, okay? My ex always messages me when he's newly single. Am I the one that got away or his last resort?
Last resort.
Yeah, I would say that.
Last resort.
Savage, that is savage.
I just think that, like...
I think that's booty call vibes.
So do I.
Because like, you wouldn't be his ex otherwise.
Why has he not made the commitment then? When he's single and you're single, why are you not giving it another go and being together? Why is he just sort of... It seems like it's a hookup vibe.
I'd block him.
Yeah, you deserve more.
That's my other thing, by the way. Just block. Block everyone.
I have 3,000 people blocked on Instagram.
Do you?
3,500, yeah.
I've had to mute half the cast. They upset me with their posts. Okay, I've been with my boyfriend for over 5 years and we post most of our life together online. We have built quite a solid following and we're finally making money from it all. Everything felt amazing until I recently started to suspect he may be cheating on me with his ex. I can't be sure as I'm scared to go full detective, and I did notice she's been liking his pictures and commented on one the other day, which is wild as they split years ago. He's also become more private with his phone. I know this is bad, but I'm scared to uncover the truth and then have to admit that this life we present to the public is over and be accused of it being a showman's, etc., on top of all the emotions. But I don't think I can ignore my female intuition any longer. Can I just say, your female intuition is always right.
Always.
Every time you have a feeling, it is right.
My intuition's never let me down. I've always been right.
I do think we're lucky in that sense though, because I know, but I'm the same. Annoyingly, I don't have it with friendships though. Like, when I've been fucked over by mates, I'm like, well, where was my fucking intuition there?
Yeah, I know.
With guys, when you think something, it tends to be the truth. The thing that's so hard, that's so hard though. The whole
That's really hard. I think you've got to confront.
But then she's saying, like, they've got obviously brand deals and stuff together as a couple. But I think this is the thing. I actually think it's more damaging, and I know it a lot with couple friends who I know have been like going through rough patches or things have been going on, but that is not what they present on Instagram, which actually I think is more damaging, because then you're sort of lying to yourselves that things are fine when they're actually not. So if you are going through shit, I mean, it's so hard though, because then people are like, oh, you lose money, you lose followers, but I would protect your situation
totally. That's
rather than putting it
first.
out there.
And also, like, people don't want to see, if you're not happy and you're not, like, that will transpire. Like, people will gauge people aren't stupid.
Yeah.
So you want to protect your peace and your happiness before anything else.
I also think
the brand deals should only be a bonus. I get it's work and I understand that, but like, you've got to put yourself first, and I think that's like protecting your peace.
100%. And long term, if he is cheating, you're obviously you'll be happier long term than having like a couple of pounds from a fucking job now.
Yeah, totally.
They say that a lot with the Love Island lot. I'd love to know how much that is actually true though. You know, the Love Islanders who actually are together and who aren't.
I know.
People used to message me thinking that the relationships I made in Chelsea were fake, and I was like, you're joking. I can barely fake a friendship, let alone a relationship. It'd be a nightmare. My best friend's boyfriend of over 6 years recently confessed his feelings for me. God. Oh, for God's sake. For me at their very drunken house party. She was in the next room, none the wiser. He said he had liked me since we first met and wanted to know if I felt the same.
No.
To which I said, absolutely not. I see him like a brother. The next day he texted me saying he didn't mean any of what he said and was just so drunk and really hopes I don't tell her and destroy their relationship. I'm so confused. If I tell her, it will break her heart. But if I don't, am I the worst friend and covering his lie? Help.
God, I'm a bit split on this.
Let me read it again.
Basically,
I'll be honest.
I would tell her.
You have to. It's her best friend.
Yeah, I agree.
It would be like, not that this would ever happen, Rez coming to me saying, Liv, I fancy you in those boots of yours.
Rory declaring his undying love for me.
You'd have to tell your friend.
Yeah.
And also, I think, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you have to. I know it's...
You have to, and it would be awkward and be uncomfortable, but you didn't put yourself in this position, he did.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things that will always be on your mind. And when you're hanging out with them, the only thing you'll think about is that your piss boyfriend was chatting me up.
Yeah, God forbid it gets back to her through someone else, and then it's like you didn't say anything, and it's messy.
Yeah. I would not want to be in that position, though.
No,
My God, that's
really
actually
uncomfortable.
savage.
I feel for her.
I would say, I would message a mate saying, can we go for a drink? But you've got to, actually, you and I have had this before, when I've had to tell you things about Rez, or not tell you about Rez because it's never been bad, but like, because I was friends with Rez, I met Rez the same time I met you, and then obviously I was friends with Rez, and then I was friends with you. I have to say, obviously, you and I are a lot closer. We're two girls. I speak to each every day. Rez I'm obviously still friends with. But then there were times when I would defend you and not him. And I think
he would get so pissed off.
It happened recently-ish, though, over something. And I remember actually I should have told him that I was going to tell you something, and I didn't. I just told you straight away. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know. I hear you.
But
totally.
I think you've got to take your mate for a drink and sit and just say don't. And then the conversation she has with the boyfriend shouldn't be like a rah, rah, rah. It should just be like, listen, if you're feeling this sort of thing's drunk, then that's actually the bigger question.
That's the bigger problem at bay, whatever the word is. That's the issue.
Exactly. Fuck that though. Okay, quick fire round. You have 3 seconds to answer them. Ready?
Yeah.
3 things people don't know about you.
I'm quite nice.
Can we talk about this really quickly? Because when you get trolled, right?
Yeah.
Do you still get trolled as badly as you did?
Well, the show will air soon, and then it'll all come back around. No, it's sometimes. It's not.
Why do you think it is? I don't watch it enough to get it because I don't understand. I find it odd.
I don't know.
But to the point that I've had to defend Ruby on Instagram and say, if you fucking troll her, I will come for you.
I don't know. I get a lot of lovely messages, and there is a lot of love. It's not all bad, but there is also like a real people do have an issue with me. They just do. Since the day I joined the show.
I think it's because you're opinionated and you give it.
3 things people don't know about me. I have a metal spine.
I know that from going to the fucking airport, which is a nightmare, by the way.
Which is a nightmare to travel with.
Like travelling with a...
What else? There's a lot of people.
What did you say? Slept with a lot of people?
No, I didn't.
Sorry,
I did not. And I have not. I said there's a lot of people that people might not know.
Went to uni?
Yeah, don't have a degree.
Oh, I don't have a degree.
I had an 8-year career at a very top modelling agency. I think people don't know that. Well, some people might.
Next one. Biggest red flag in a guy.
Biggest red flag in a guy.
I think...
vanity.
Mine would be talking to your mum too much.
I don't like that either.
Why is that?
Boys.
You know mummy's boys. But it's a really hard one. I like guys who've got a good relationship with their mothers because it means they're like nice family people. But to the point it feels like they're in a relationship, it seems odd. Where'd you draw the line? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. There's got to be boundaries. There's got to be.
If you weren't on TV or fashion, what do you think you'd be doing?
I would love to be a psychologist.
Really?
Yeah. I'd love to. I'm so fascinated by people's psyche, mindset, why we were programmed the way we are. I also am really, so it's either that or I love interior design.
Are you similar to your brothers? In morals and personality?
Yeah, I am.
Because I always find this quite interesting. Me and my sisters are all completely different,
yeah,
but raised different. By the same parents.
It's funny,
and I would love to understand why that would be.
Yeah. And how me and my brothers are similar, but we're also very different in my brothers would never want to do television or Made in Chelsea. They don't, that's not their thing. But we are different, but we're also so the same. I have the exact same sense of humour as them, and I don't know. I think they're fucking great, my brothers.
I love your brothers. We need to go to his scallop.
Scallops. Saturday mornings.
Who in the MIC cast would you swap lives with for a day?
That's a good question. Maybe Sophie Herman.
I was literally just thinking that, just getting into her wardrobe.
Yeah, going to her wardrobe in that flat, all the appointments, the lunches, lovely.
Yeah, no, I actually, to be fair, I probably would do Sophie as well. What's next for Ruby Adler?
There's a few things.
Yeah?
A few things are coming.
What's
Might be another TV show, potentially, you never
Really?
know, maybe.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I was about to say Celebs Go Dating, but I was like, that can't be right.
No, not Celebs Go Dating.
That would be sick.
Thank you.
Very exciting.
I told you about this.
No.
Oh, well, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So that is the end of the episode. Thank you so much, Ruby.
Thank you for having
and I
me.
hope you'll be back.
It was so fun.